Buzon. In Portuguese, it sounds Rafael Buzon. I'm from Brazil, and this video uh, is to give more context and more background regarding my presentation proposal to Agile 2017 conference. Okay, so I'm sorry the material is still in Portuguese, but I'll try to give all the information necessary to understand each slide, and then you can, I hope, you can better evaluate this proposal. Okay, so the name, and of course I will translate all the material to the conference, of course, in case I get in. And yes, the name of this presentation is the Agile Codes Backlog. And the main purpose of this presentation is that we have a lot of techniques, approach, and a lot of information regarding the product owner's backlog, right? The product backlog. And we have, for example, the user story techniques, we have the user journey, all the inceptions techniques regarding the how to build a better product, a better software product. And we talk just a little about what would an agile coach do, and how can an agile coach build his or her backlog? How can the agile coach identify the opportunities to change the environment? How can he establish some priorities to his backlog items, for example? What is the most important thing to address in the environment regarding changing things? Okay, so this is the main purpose, how the agile coach can build his backlog, and I will present a technique here. So this is my background, some of my stuff, and I will start with this presentation and the terminology, right? Because here in Brazil, at least, we have a lot of discussions regarding whether it's a Scrum Master or an Agile coach or an Agile project manager, you know. So first of all, we need to understand who is the Agile coach. So what is supposed to this role to be doing? What he's going to do different from a Scrum Master or a project manager, right? So I came up with this idea of the Agile coach as a scientist, but before getting that, I need to talk about what the Agile coach is not. So some end patterns, some stereotypes about this function, this role. Okay, so who is the Agile coach? And then I will pass very fast in each slide just to give you the content and the purpose of each part of the presentation, because it's still in Portuguese, right? And because this video is just to give you this context. And of course, in the presentation and in the conference, I will take more time in each slide to give the details. So this is a survey that I did in Google Trends to compare product manager and the Scrum Master with Agile coach, and Agile coach with Agile project manager, just to see the trends in the search queries in Google. So it will just give us the notion that we already have, that Scrum Master is still going up. We also have the Agile Coach going up in the search on Google. And of course, the project manager is still the most one searched. So this is just curiosity, and between Agile Coach and Agile Project Manager, we have this difference here, where the Agile Coach starts um, to be ahead in the search from Agile Project Manager. So I went deep to see what the literature, the books, and the authors they say about Scrum Master and Agile Coach. So this is Mike Cohn talking about the Scrum Master and a very strong focus on Scrum, right? So this is obvious. And this is the parallel I want to give with the Agile Coach in the future. So I also took some examples from a Kanban coach, what would be in the from the vision of David Anderson. And finally, from this book, the Coaching Agile Teams from Lisa Adkins, we got this notion from Gene Highsmith that the Agile coach he has multiple roles as teacher, mentor, problem solver, conflict navigator, performance coach, etc. So the first part of this presentation, I will give context about what the Agile coach is and what it isn't, that I'm going to tell next. The anti-patterns. So we have here the secretary Agile coach, those guys that are reactive. They just schedule some meetings, just facilitate some ceremonies, but they react to the facts, right? They are not proactivity in understanding and reading the environment to see what kind of behaviors, what kind of approach they could do in order to make all the context better. Right, and the second stereotype here, another ant pattern, it's the kind of the bro agile coach, that guy that it's everybody likes him, everybody acknowledge that he is a good communicator, and he also accomplished a lot because of his relationship with people, but he also doesn't address the main concerns of the role, the agile coach role. They're not worried about improving people. They are also react to the fact. So these guys they treat urgent problems in production very fast. He can talk with the guys on database teams or infrastructure, DevOps, and because of his relationship and friendship with them, they accomplish a lot, but he also misses the biggest point of an agile coach, that is to improve the environment and the people. So this is Goldratt that says that tell me how you measure, that I'll tell you how I behave. And then I will also tell that the enterprises, the organizations has his guilt in this problem too, because they value a lot this kind of guys, these guys that are just focused on being reactive, and all the time they are busy and the organizations, they are not focused on what is the best from also an agile coach. Okay, and it's also an excerpt from the book. So I'll tell a little bit about complexity and this differentiation between the traditional management and the agile management. So we have here command and control, and here self-organization. We have here we avoid change. Here we are embracing change. So this kind of parallel between them, just to introduce then the agile coach as a scientist. So I talk about the stereotypes and the end patterns of the agile coach, and now I'm introducing what, in my perspective, an agile coach would be most likely than so a scientist, because he needs to read the environment, to see the elements, how they are combined, the reactions resulting from this combination, etc. So, the agile coach as a scientist, right? So, three main focus that a scientist, agile coach scientist, might be looking for. So, study the elements, test hypotheses, and facilitate the change, the transformations. So I'll tell a little bit about each of them. So study the elements, to study the team members, all the team and the organization. There are kind of levels that you should study. Then you should, from that study, you should to formulate your hypothesis, and then to facilitate the change, to facilitate the transformation using this kind of tools, right? Mentoring, coaching, facilitation, and some kind of training. Then, with this scientist agile coach in mind, I will give them the agile coach tool. And the agile coach tool is implemented in some meetings, one-on-one meetings, and it has some structure, right? So I'll tell you about the tool now, very fast. So this is the summary of the tool. This is a table that summarizes some average given from the team members. Each team members will give a value to these domains here. So we have here planning, execution, quality, purpose, and product vision, etc. And the agile coach might want to give other kind of to choose other things to evaluate here with the team. And this is the summary of all the notes, all the values given by the team members. Okay, and this is the standard deviation. Okay, so this tells a lot, because you can, oh, and this is an individual view of the spreadsheet of this table. So this is John, and John gave a 4 to planning, for example, in this date. I usually run this tool every 2 months, right? So, and these notes goes from 1 to 5, which 1 is very bad and 5 very good, right? And then you can see from the perspective of each team member, what they understand of each of one of these domains here. So John understands that communication is a tool and it's a bad thing. Okay? So from the average, going back to the average, you can see that in average, communication is the most important thing to improve from the team's perspective. And you also can see that you have a lot of standard deviation in the, here is the stakeholders evaluation. So this is already something that the Agile coach could manage to help, right? Because you can, as an Agile coach, address this to improve communication, or also you can understand why the standard deviation is so high to stakeholders. So this means that we have in the same team very different values, notes, right? For the same thing, for the same stakeholder evaluation. So one team member says it is a 2, and another one said that it's a 5 or 4, for example. So the standard deviation is high. And then you can address that as well. And then you can see from also this summary that, just a second. So my video was not showing. And you also can see from the summary that from one evaluation to another, so here it's May and June, here is August and September, you can also see some improvements, and that's the kind of thing you want to see. The average is going up and the standard deviation is going down. So you have some benefits from the summary, but you also have a lot of benefits inside the meeting, during the meeting, right? In this one-on-one with your team member. So each note, so you as an Agile coach will ask to the person, to the team member, to give the note, to vote in these domains. And the note is the trigger to start a conversation. And this conversation will tell you whether you should use a coaching tool, a mentoring, a training, or a feedback, something like that. Right? So this is an example where you are using a coaching. So you ask, so why a 3 to communication? And then the person says, because the product owner doesn't write very well the stories. And then you can move on and ask, okay, so how does it affect you? And then the guy says, or she says, sometimes I don't know the rules to validate a field, for example. Okay, and how can you help the product owner to improve this? Are you able to help him or her writing the stories to be more complete? So this is an example of a coaching tool. Training, so this guy here gave a 2 to communication because there's a lot of people talking about lead time and he doesn't know what lead time is. So this is an opportunity to you to address that. So lead time is blah, 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 right? That kind of thing doesn't appear in a retrospective, for example. So in the one-on-one meeting, you are going to come up with kind of stuff and then you can help the team member. This is also a feedback. You can also use feedback here. So this example, the guy gave two stakeholders because he said that the database team, they didn't they usually not answer his questions in time, and then you were copied in some emails, and then you can say, okay, it is Peter. Let me tell you what I thought about your last email to them, to the database team. And then you can use a feedback tool, like, for example, the feedback rep from Jürgen Apelo, Management 3.0. And you're going to describe the context and list your observations, etc. So I'm just saying, I'm saying here that you can use a lot of tools inside the one-on-one meeting, using this tool as a trigger to the conversation, and also some mentoring. So I'm going to help here in a inception meeting to address better or OKRs to your product, because you're not seeing so clearly what the future is. This is a conversation with a product owner, for example. Right, and you also can get some insights from that. So this is not something to that team specific, but you can get some insights to use in another team that you are accompanying to. And it's the main, so this is a kind of benefits from this tool. So I hope I could I could give you more context in this presentation that allows you to evaluate it, whether it's a good fit for the conference. So thank you very much. See you there. Bye bye.